May I have everyone's attention? Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Lehigh Northampton Airport Authority for February 25th. If everyone will please stand and face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sylvette, would you please call the roll?
Paul Anthony. Ann Baum. Robert Brooks.
Here.
Frank Fasciano.
Here.
Don Gottschall.
Here.
Ricky Gower. Justin Grimshaw.
Here.
John Hayes.
Here.
James Irwin.
Here.
Kevin Lott.
Here.
Glenn Reedman.
Present.
Kevin Surfuss.
Here.
Michael Sturshik.
Here.
Jonathan Strauss.
Here.
Christopher Worley.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Any public comment?
Not at this time, sir.
I will now entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the January 20, 2025 meeting. Moved by Dawn, second by John. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes have been approved. We will go to Frank. Take
Thank
care of
you.
the treasurer's
I'm
report.
going to turn it over to Todd. Oh, there he is. Good afternoon, everyone. Walk through the traffic. Similar to what we went over yesterday, but this is a condensed version. Traffic for January up 9% versus last year. Best January since 2004. So good stuff there as far as traffic is concerned. You can see the bus, as we talked about yesterday, the bus is up significantly, but also the legacy carriers are up as well, which John pointed out. I think it's good to kind of put that out there, something that's been lagging behind, but it's nice to see them picking up the pace too. Comparing ourselves to all airports, throughput and seats down some versus seats and throughputs of all airports. We're doing a little bit more investigation in this. We will get back to you on some of those numbers, but at this point, they're still up versus 2024. Compared to our peers, again, our peers would take our numbers any day. We're doing pretty good. The average for our peers is in a negative, so we shouldn't complain. For the month of January, good month, despite the snow. I'm going to still point out my favorite, star of the month and her team, and that's Connie, the de-icing, and all of her folks that work with her. Great job offsetting some of our expenses with some revenue. So a revenue star is always a good thing. Darren, one of these days you'll be a revenue star. But just comparing our, obviously we had a budgeted number that was in a negative. Some of that's timing, but again, we're starting the year off on a good note. Frank's favorite chart, 13 months in a row where we've had positive income, excluding CARES and miscellaneous income. And those that, as a reminder, we took our last CARES draw this month. We will get no more CARES after February. Breaking down the biggest budget variances that make up that 320-some thousand of variance there. The biggest one there, as I said, our de-icing queen back there and her team, and that's Connie. But then we had interest, and then you see we're actually over on wages and salaries, but the benefits cost is actually contributing to the savings, and then parking with some of our increases in our traffic is up as well. Seeing what it is, just looking at it versus budget, -2 personnel, including benefits and everything in there, wages and everything. Still up 3% from last year, and non-personnel down 7%. Again, some of that's timing. It's still early in the year. And then I figured I'd throw this in there because I mentioned it yesterday. Just kind of looking at our snow. So for the month of January, we had 204,000 of snow. We only budgeted 144,000. Our total snow budget is about 517K, but you can kind of see what's been happening over the last 9, 10 years there. It used to be 300,000. Remember that number way back in the day? Now it's a lot more, with things costing a lot more. But last year, I did point it out, last year we're almost 300,000, and it did kind of taper off. We're still seeing some pretty good numbers in February, so we'll see where we end the year. Again, that red line there is our 180 number that we all in for all of our reserves, and here's the pieces down here: 61 operating and maintenance reserve, regular 60-day reserve, 500,000 reserve there as well, and it all adds up to a total of 180, and we're above that red line pretty significantly. And our peer number is still comparing 2023. Once we get 2024, we'll update this chart, but that usually doesn't come out till mid-year, and we put update up. So again, a good month. Try to keep it shorter than yesterday. I know Glenn's giving me the eyeball to keep it short and sweet. So it's good news. I'll entertain any questions if anybody has any.
Just a clarification again, Todd, the CARES money that we're going to be recognizing in February has been received.
Correct.
So it's not that we have to apply for it.
It's already applied and received in the bank.
Okay.
Hopefully Darren didn't spend it yet, but no, it's all in the bank. Any other questions?
Can I get a motion to accept the report? Mike, second. Give it to Kevin Lott. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Thanks, Todd.
Dawn?
Sure, so I'm going to talk to Darren to talk about the ground lease with Sanic Solar.
Thanks, Don. So we did go over this yesterday in the committees, looking to enter into an agreement with Sanic Solar, which is a local Allentown company. They have an option, looking for an option on about 61 acres of land to the 2-year period to kind of do their due diligence. Ultimately looking to do solar farms on the 4 separate parcels that make up the 61 acres. 20-year lease with 2 5-year options to extend. Like we talked yesterday, they're responsible for everything: compliance with all regulations, permits, FAA requirements, glare studies, and the like, those types of things. They are required in the lease to remove everything at the end of the term, return the site back to original condition. They indemnify us, and the rent is not based on power generation. It's just simply a fixed ground rent. So once they exercise the option, they start paying that. You'll see if you scroll down just a touch there, starts out at about $122,000 annually, 2% increase. The important piece of it, over that life of the term, generates about $3 million, which is about $2.75 million more than we're generating from those parcels today on our ag leases. So certainly significantly better returns. And I know question about contractors.
They're local.
They are local. They're contractors. One is from Ephrata, one is from Lebanon. So yeah. But the company itself is local. So
Their subs are local.
yeah. Well, the solar contractor is from Lebanon, and their electrical contractor is from Ephrata.
We don't have anybody in the land that can do solar.
I don't know, sir. Again, this is a lease. It's up to the lessee to, pick their subs. It's not our project necessarily. So.
Okay.
So happy to answer any questions.
Hearing none, can I get a motion for approval of the ground lease with Sanic Solar? Second, Bobby? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay, noted. So moved.
That's okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Now we're going to toss it to Rodney. Talk about the grant application resolutions.
Thank you, Don. Afternoon, everybody. So we went through this yesterday at the committee. Really, we're looking for a resolution to submit a grant application for the Pennsylvania local share account for a new ARF truck vehicle. The max that we can request is $1 million. The vehicle that was quoted a little while back was about $1,099,840. The grant itself doesn't have a local match requirement, but we're required to cover whatever the difference is. We're looking to hear around third quarter this year if we're successful in the grant, in which we would place the order. And since our discussion yesterday, reaching out to, there's really 2 companies that make the these two pieces of equipment, it's about a 2-year lead time, so it's still a pretty long time, we kind of talked about yesterday. Again, looking to hear in the third quarter and then, put the order in if we are successful. But we're really just looking for the approval of the resolution to submit the grant application.
Any questions?
Yep.
These fire truck companies nowadays, at the end of the thing, let's say it's 2 years, at the end of them, their price seems to go up. Are we prepared for that? Like, I need the contracts to sign, they always put it in there, it's becoming a problem. I just actually gave John an article on it from the New York Times. Just making sure we stay prepared for that to possibly happen and we don't get locked on that number.
Okay. No, I appreciate the information. It's great to hear. Well, not great to hear, but we'll certainly follow up. If we're successful in the application, obviously we'll be programming those funds in each budget year as we kind of coordinate with the vendor manufacturer to make sure that we're
Get you guys started.
zeroing in on the right number. Yeah, I'd like to see
Is
this.
this one that you would put in at 10%?
So, yeah, so with the grant, we can't request more than $1 million, so the differential here, that 100,000 would be, we would need to budget that as the authority to cover that additional cost over the grant amount, if that makes sense. So
But if it's,
look at that in out years. So initially,
like you said, it could be more than that. So
They need a budget.
we may need to adjust the budget or, right, if that were to change. And I don't know how these agreements are drafted, so.
Is there a typical percentage though of increase?
It's
Just all over?
Yeah, it's all over. It's a monopoly, is what it is. There's more companies out
Yeah.
there.
Right.
And they created a monopoly and they're just playing the game. And
Okay.
Everyone involved.
You guys know contracts. I know different kind of contracts.
Just go to what Bobby was talking about. I've seen that with 2 fire companies now where in
Price
2.5 years,
escalation.
the price went up 20%.
Okay.
It can be material.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's great. It's great to understand up front, so, okay.
Any other questions or discussion?
Other than the fact that we have to start a subsidiary that manufactures fire trucks.
Oh, we don't have to do that. So I need a motion for approval of the LSA grant application resolution for an ARF vehicle. Mike? Right. All right, any opposed, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved.
Great, thank you. And the next request, again, similar to the LSA grant application, as we talked about yesterday, this is really for the next phase or final phase of the Passenger Boarding Bridge Rehabilitation Project. So it's looking for some of the rehabilitation that we didn't get to complete with our first round of DCED funding, and then some of the new controls for the bridges themselves, and then replacing some of the 20-year-old inefficient ground power units and preconditioned air units that the aircraft use when they're parked at the gate rather than running fuel. So again, submitting a grant for $825,000, similar parameters in terms of if we hear back third quarter of this year, and then it's similar to the ARF truck, we'd be programming the funds in and phasing the project accordingly if needed based on how much funding we receive, and what our capital budget can manage next year. So similar, just looking for an approval for the LSA grant application for this project.
Any discussion? All right. I need a motion to approve the LSA grant application resolution as presented.
I'll make that.
Paul and Bobby, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Dawn. Just on the executive committee, we mentioned yesterday that John Hayes will be the chair of the nominating committee. I don't know if you want to say anything.
Just briefly, everything will go to vote in April. If anyone has any interest in serving in any of the positions that we have, to let me know.
Okay, Tom?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. As Todd mentioned, good January for traffic. As we look at winding up February here nationally, checkpoint throughput across the country is up about 1% overall so far. February month to date, we're up about 9% over last February for our throughput here at ABE. And about a third of those passengers, by the way, are TSA pre-check passengers going through our checkpoints. So it's great to see people are signing up and coming here and using the pre-check. So,
When's our next pre-check event? Do we have that?
May.
taking a look ahead to next month, March, our scheduled airline seats for March over last March are up 25%. So a pretty big jump. Domestically, they're up about 3.5%. So taking a look at what's happened since our last board meeting, January 28th, on February 10th, we hosted 11th and 12th graders from Easton Area High School as part of the Generation Next program. Dawn, thanks for connecting us with that program. Great opportunity to meet with them and kind of walk through the facility, talk about career opportunities here at the airport here. February 20th, we celebrated the 5-year anniversary of the Allegiant Crew Base. Yes, it's been 5 years since 2020. So it's clicking right along, and so we celebrated that on the 20th. On the 23rd of February, we exhibited at the AAA Lehigh Valley Expo over at Wind Creek Event Center. It was really well attended, and I know we actually had some signups available for another event I'll mention shortly. So today we're actually over at Liberty High School. We're in Bethlehem at their career fair. So we're over there talking with students about career opportunities. In terms of our upcoming events, March 3rd through the 6th, we have staff attending a customer experience symposium in Nova Scotia. I guess that's a nice place to go this time of year. On March 12th, we're attending Freedom High School, not to be outdone by Liberty, Freedom High School's career fair. On March 13th, we have a team speaking at the Good Shepherd Rehab Center down in Center Valley on traveling with a disability. So we have a group of staff here as well as some partners from American Airlines and others going down with us to talk about that. March 17th, we're back with the Generation Next program with William Allen High School 10th graders. So they'll be here on March 17th. March 21st, Springhouse Middle School, Parkland School District, a STEAM Expo. So we're participating in that. And March 26th, we're attending the Bethlehem Area VOTEC Career and College Fair. So we've got a number of educational outreach, a lot of that going on this time of year, so we're excited to do that. I mentioned we did some signups at the AAA Lehigh Valley Vacation Expo. That was for our Fear of Flying seminar on April 2nd. That's now full. So that's been taken off the books.
How many is full?
It's 12, so we can take 12. And just a quick update on our project for the hotel, the new courtyard. Contractors working to mobilize for next month. So looking at this point at a groundbreaking in April. Mother Nature cooperates. So that concludes my report, Mr. Chair. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the executive? Seeing none, the solicitor's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Worked on various leasing matters this month. Also looking into procurement questions that came up. We'll have a report back on that soon, and the request for some more information on a responsible contractor ordinance or something similar. We're looking into that, and we'll have a report by the next meeting on that, or some recommendation, and then we'll discuss the connector project in closed session.
Okay. Any new business? Seeing none, I will take a motion to go into executive session. Motion to the board to approve a contract amendment with Bracy Construction for the Task 18 project and authorize staff and the solicitor to execute and deliver all documents required for closeout of the terminal connector project. May I have a second for that? Jonathan? And are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Good job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Katie.
And if there is nothing else, we'll take a motion for adjournment. We're adjourned.
Pleasure, my friend.
Good for me.